Shabbat Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, Israel. Man, I hope everybody is having a blessed day of rest. The title of today's message is The Right to Remain Silent. The right to remain silent. Welcome to all and Shabbat Shalom, Israel. How to support the ministry. Hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel. Turn your notifications on and set to all notifications. You know, a lot of people think that YouTube automatically, when you subscribe, sets your notifications to all notifications, but it does not. You have to click the bell manually and select all notifications. If not, you will not get updates to when I'm posting new content or Shabbat messages, okay? Share this video. Help get the word out. You know, to make sure people are understanding how to walk upright and how to work out their salvation. Lastly, check out the affiliate links in the description box for exclusive discount codes with the reminder of no buying or selling on the Shabbat. You know, with everything going on in the world, it's very easy for one to get distracted and put the Most High Yah and his will on the back burner. And this leads into why are we here today? Exodus chapter 20, verses 8 through 11. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. You know, not only did, Abraham, not only did, Moses, the apostles, the Messiah, the disciples, they all were Sabbath day keepers. And we see in the beginning, when we look in Genesis, the Most High Yah set apart the seventh day. That's why we're here. Verse 9, 6 days shalt thou labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord thy Yah. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou, nor thy son, nor thy daughter, thy manservant, nor thy maidservant, nor thy cattle, nor thy stranger that is within thy gates. That sounds foreign to a lot of people that don't understand the Bible was written on behalf of an Eastern Semitic agricultural people. Okay. Verse 11, for in 6 days the Lord made the heaven and the earth, the sea and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Exodus chapter 31, verse 13. Speak thou also unto the children of Israel, saying, verily, my Sabbaths you shall keep. For it is a sign between me and you throughout your generations, that you may know that I am the Lord that do sanctify you. Ye shall keep. Strong's number, Hebrew word 8104, to guard, to protect, to attend, to observe, take heed, reserve, to be kept. Agenda. In today's Shabbat message, we will be discussing and showcasing biblically how sometimes you'll realize we talk too much, and this leads to us partaking in conversations that are unrighteous, partaking in gossip, slanderous, conversations, backbiting, and malicious conversation. Often, these are the things that we forget to repent about and will be exposed and remembered at Judgment Day. Most of us have heard or know of the Miranda rights, and in today's Shabbat message, I want to inform you that you have the right to remain silent. If you've ever watched any kind of, live PD or cops, you realize that they will always read somebody their Miranda rights, letting you know that, okay, if you talk to us, which we want you to do, you can incriminate yourself. You can say some things that will, be used against you. On the first 48, they always show them being read their rights. Okay. Goal of the message: believers to understand that anything you say can and will be used against you at Judgment Day. The word says, okay, by your words you are justified, by your words you are condemned. Think about that. When we look at Numbers 30, making vows, a woman not being able to cancel those vows out, but only the husband or the father. Sometimes we can make harsh vows. Sometimes we can say things, till death do us part, and we not live up to them. Marriage is one example, for better or for worse. But when worse comes, you break the vow. I want you to understand that you have the right to remain silent. Man, one thing about this tongue, this mouth, is it's very hard to tame, and we can very easily run off at the mouth and get ourselves into a lot of trouble. The power you have. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 21. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, and they that love it shall eat the fruit thereof. We have to be mindful that we're avoiding a lot of these conversations that will take part and pretty much be a trap for you, because you're not going to realize, oh snap, I'm violating the will of the Most High Yah. Most people don't think that deep because their flesh is in control. And this is one of those Shabbat messages where we're focused on fine tuning. We're focused on fine tuning, making sure our walk is lockstep with what the Most High Yah's expectation for us is. People can name off, the biggest sins, the biggest transgressions. But when it comes to the stuff that people often overlook, this is it right here. Saying things, giving a word that you don't plan on keeping, saying things that can cause death, saying things that can tear somebody down, and not based upon a rebuke. We got to be mindful of that. So this message is about fine tuning. Oftentimes we focus on the major things, what the Most High Yah outlines in the word is abominations. And we think, okay, the smaller stuff we really don't have to worry about. Believers must understand that every time you open your mouth to speak, you are choosing to be accountable for everything that comes out of your mouth. Most people are far too comfortable letting their flesh control their mouth instead of remaining silent or being led of the Ruach HaKodesh. Think about that. Accountability is something that people avoid. You got people on record that have said things and then come back and say, I didn't say that. Or I never should have said that. I don't know why I said that. That means your flesh got control and you didn't run it. You didn't ensure that, okay, are your statements, are the stuff you talking about being led of the Ruach HaKodesh? Or are you saying this stuff, running it through a filter of divine wisdom, pure wisdom, logic? Or are you just saying stuff that makes absolutely no sense? Why this matters. Matthew 12, verse 33 through 36. Either make the tree good and its fruit good, or make the tree bad and its fruit bad. For the tree is recognized and judged by its fruit. You brood of vipers, how can you speak good things when you are evil? For the mouth that speaks out of which it fills the heart. The good man from its inner good treasure brings good things, and the evil man from his inner evil treasure brings out evil things. But I tell you, on the day of judgment, people will have to give an accounting for every careless or useless word they speak. As a man, it's very easy to get around some brothers that might be religious, have a form of godliness, fit the build of being a religious brother. But if you're not cognizant, if you're not paying attention to the conversations that you're taking a part in, man, you can very easily, your flesh will be off the deep end when it comes to your conversation, before you realize it. And this word is talking about giving an account, being accountable for careless and useless words spoken. And if your heart is good, you should be a pillar of light for those in darkness to see what good and holy conduct sounds like, what that communication looks like. 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 9 through 10. Know you not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of Yah? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind. I want you to think about this right here. And when people don't agree with the word, think about how they condemn themselves by verbalizing what they believe, and it's not in alignment with the will of Yah. Think about that when it comes to fornicating, idolatry. You got people that you can be saying what's in the word, follow not the way of the heathen, the customs of the people are vain. And people will say, you know what? I don't think that's idolatry. I don't see nothing wrong with it. And by their rebuttal, man, they're condemning themselves when they should be remaining silent, seeking the Most High Yah so they can have understanding. Nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous. I want you to think about the spirit of covetousness and then your conversation surrounding your covetousness. Nor drunkards, nor revilers. That's what we're focused on. Nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of Yah. Revilers, Strong's number G3060. Mischief, abusive, railer, reviler. Noun, a person's harsh, bitter words. Character of verbal abuse. Won't inherit the kingdom like that. Bearing false witness. Now, those that do not keep the commandments, those 9 times out of 10 just participating in religious observances. This is not the stuff that comes to the front of your mind when, you're thinking about walking upright, because this stuff doesn't get taught, in world religion. This is one of those messages where you'd be lucky if you hear it. But we have to be very cognizant, very mindful of bearing false witness. That's a violation. Exodus chapter 20, verse 16. Thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor. See, when you are in church, a lot of the stuff that goes on when the facts are not known, but rumors are being spread, it's very easy to jump on the bandwagon and bear false witness because it's juicy conversation. Man, you heard what happened to such and such, and next thing you know, you're jumping on it. I can't believe he would do that. Can't believe she would do that. And none of this stuff has been proven. None of this stuff comes from credible witnesses. And this is how we can get caught up bearing false witness. When you hear something juicy, man, 9 times out of 10, hey, you just need to avoid it because it's not going to benefit you. Oftentimes people come around you with that stuff to set a snare for you to fall into. Proverbs 19:5, a false witness will not go unpunished, and he who breathes out lies will not escape. I was watching an interview of the black lady that started the Me Too movement. And in a statement she made, they were basically asking her, should we take every woman's word as truth? And the woman that started the Me Too movement said, man, I never said that. I definitely do not want people to take, the word of every woman as truth. She basically said, women will lie. And this is why, this Me Too movement took off like it was when she said, only thing I was trying to do was give women that have been taken advantage of, in certain circumstances, a voice with the hashtag of Me Too. Not all these people that have had nothing happen to them, but want the benefits that come with, that support group. So you have to think about that when somebody sits up and says, hey, they did this to me and it never happened. Oftentimes that Me Too stuff is for the sake of money. But I found that very interesting because she was like, no, that's not even what the Me Too movement is, not the intent of it. It's just that's the way it played out and everybody jumped on the bandwagon. So that was kind of shocking to hear the creator of that actually say that. Exodus chapter 23, verse 1. You shall not spread a false report. Okay, how do we know if it's a false report or not? Has it been verified? Has it been validated as truth? Or are you taking somebody else's word that spread it to you, that passed that on to you as, well, they are an honest person? It's very easy to fall into this. You shall not join hands with a wicked man to be a malicious witness. Hey, man, I need you to just lie for me. We cool, right? Girl, hold me down. Hey, I just need you to cover my back. You remember I had you that one time. If you don't do this for me, man, it's going to be bad for me. I just need you to it ain't even a big lie. Nobody's going to even look into it. Slandering. Psalms 101:5. Whoso privily slandereth his neighbor, him will I cut off. Him that hath an high look and proud heart will not I suffer. Slander. Strong's number Hebrew 3960. To accuse. Slander. Noun. Definition. The action of verbally damaging a person's reputation. Very common. Very common in this day, time, and hour. This can happen in the workplace. This can happen in the church. This can happen in the called out assembly, the congregation, the ecclesia. It can happen amongst your family, your friends, your co-workers. But this is the stuff. This is why I say this is a fine-tuning message. Because with everything going on in the world and this person doing that and that person doing this, if you're not there, if you're not a credible witness, if you don't have the details, a lot of this stuff is not worthy of you speaking on in the manner in which we speak on it. See, when we slander somebody, I want you to understand, we're speaking on it like it's truth. To accuse. Verbally, and this is damaging to somebody's reputation. And one thing about it, 9 times out of 10, 99% of the time, when somebody slanders you and your reputation has been damaged, the side effects of that, the consequences of that are long term. And you'd be lucky if these people give you an apology, but the damage is well beyond that apology. Majority of people are not going to give you an apology, but damage your reputation. Don't give a dang if what they're saying is true. Proverbs 10:18. The one who conceals hatred has lying lips, and whosoever utters slander is a fool. You're not speaking with wisdom. 1 Peter 2:1. So put aside every trace of malice and all deceit and hypocrisy and envy and all slander and hateful speech. Hate speech. You know, in my introduction, I had a slide showing truth is the new hate speech. When you think about the Pharisees, encounters with the Messiah, man, it would have been better if they put the shut to the up and actually listened to what the Messiah was actually saying rather than trying to catch the Messiah up. Because their hypocrisy was shown every time they spoke. The Messiah, woe to you, scribe and Pharisees, you hypocrites. Every time he was correcting them because they spoke. They was always calling the Messiah. Hey, didn't the elders, violate this and not do that? Messiah was like, we don't have no doggone custom like that. We don't have no law like that. That's something you guys made up. And then he called them a hypocrite 7 times. Slandering. Proverbs 20:19. Whosoever goes about slandering reveals secrets. Therefore, do not associate with a simple babbler. One of the worst things you can do is confide in somebody who is not a commandment keeper, or confide in somebody that does not believe we are to keep Torah, because they will think that the things of Torah don't apply to them. Therefore, the judgment that we will face, they really don't believe in. So they're not going to care if you confide in them and they go share it with everybody. You've ever heard the saying, man, such and such can't hold water. That's usually after you told them something, confided in them, and they shared it with everybody. How everybody know my business? You revealed it to somebody. You want to be cautious who you reveal stuff to. Just because somebody says I'm a Christian, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Muslim, oh, heck no. Plenty of people out there got a form of godliness, but don't adhere to the word. You don't see it in their everyday lifestyle. How many times have you heard folks slandering and somebody actually rebuke the people that's doing it? Hey, you probably shouldn't be talking about this person messing up their reputation and they not here to defend themselves. You don't hear that too often, but what you see is people joining in. Therefore, do not associate with a simple babbler. Just that instruction right there. Most people want to be around the person that's got all the juicy stories. What makes the story juicy? It's got a whole lot of lies in the mix of very little truth. Proverbs 11:13. Whoever goes about slandering reveals secrets, but he who is trustworthy in spirit keeps a thing covered. Very important. You have a lot of men that call themselves men of Yah. Somebody from the congregation confide in them, and then, within a week, they're pretty much telling the congregation verbatim everything that was told to them when this person confided in them. Sometimes even giving out names. You like, whoa, wait a minute, hold on. And what does that do? I want you to think about if somebody's dealing with something and they need some deliverance in an area, and they confide in you, and their reputation is in good standing, and then you just air them out in the open. No matter what they're dealing with, no matter how big or small. Man, that can be damaging. People can start ostracizing somebody because of slander. And ain't none of the stuff been verified. If somebody slandered you as a man or a woman and said, hey, just because they don't like you or something, an encounter you had, y'all probably rubbed each other the wrong way. Oftentimes, this is how people get back at you, by slandering your name. Hey, such and such had her children taken away. Oh, what they had the children taken away for? Oh, yeah, they was dirty. And then pretty soon people start looking at you like that. Man, that man, he's really not a man of God. He's sleeping with all these women in here. Think about that. But people, the revenge in people wanting to try to get over on somebody, leads you into slandering, damaging their reputation. When we're supposed to, if somebody confides in us, man, we're supposed to keep that thing covered. Some people would be better off if saying, hey, if you're confiding in me and you don't want nobody else to know, I'm probably not the person you should tell. How many times you meet somebody that honest? Hey, I'm working on this thing because I got a history of slandering people. So yeah, for that, yeah. Let me get right and prove myself trustworthy before you tell me all this, because historically this flesh will go run and tell everybody. Gossiping. Now this one, when you think about people on the phone, not talking about nothing constructive, you think about, I remember when I was in Christianity, no matter which church I was going to, there was always people that you would be like, man, these are the people I'm supposed to be looking up to. Man, they've been doing this for 30 plus years. You would always hear some type of gossiping. Nor was this message taught. And that's oftentimes why, this kind of stuff goes on in Sunday sun worship, because they don't teach this stuff right here, the fullness of it. It's more ear tickling. People ain't going to go in their pocketbooks for this kind of message. They want to hear something entertaining. They want to see all kind of a performance. Gossip, noun, casual or unconstrained, or reports about other people, typically involving details that are not confirmed as being true. Proverbs 16:28, a dishonest man spreads strife, and a whisperer separates close friends. Strife, Hebrew word 4066, a contest or quarrel, brawling, contentious, discord. And that's exactly what gossiping does. It sows discord among the sisters, among the brother. And this is why, if you've got a group of friends and it's 5 of you, and you have one friend in there that's gossiping, and you got, 3 people with listening ears that's willing to listen to any and everything, man, they'll have everybody in that group turned against each other, but y'all will be smiling in each other's face like y'all close. Really not. Under your breath, man, just get under my nerve. It's usually because somebody has spread some gossip, sown some discord in there. Man, what such and such said when you wasn't around, and all the time they be lying. Side effects of gossiping. Gossiping can have several harmful side effects, including, for one, that I didn't put on this list, man, you not inherit the kingdom. You not inherit the kingdom. You got those that's doing the work of Yah, and here you are making up stuff, adding more. Well, the story by itself ain't that juicy, so I got to add something on to it. Losing your salvation. Damaging reputations. It's one of the biggest ones right here. You have to understand, just off of a rumor, you can face a lot of persecution. And it spread like wildfire. You heard what such and such did? Yeah, I can't believe that, man. I knew something was a little off. Eroding trust. When you're talking about people behind their back and this stuff has not been proven as factual, there ain't going to be no trust among the sister and the brother. You're going to have people looking at folk crazy. Why they looking at me like that? Probably over there talking about me. Causing conflict, negatively impacting mental health. Gossiping can negatively impact mental health by fostering a culture of fear, mistrust, and social exclusion, leading to the increased stress, anxiety, and potential depression, as well as damage to self-esteem and reputation. Think about people are gossiping about you and you're wondering, man, why in the world are these people talking about me? And I've done nothing to these people. I've been cordial with them. I've been respectful, treated them like I would want to be treated. But oftentimes when people gossip, it's something righteous about your spirit that bothers them and causes them to do this. You don't have to do nothing to nobody for them to gossip about you. Just because they don't know the details of your life. Just because they don't know the details of your relationship. Just because your coworkers don't know what you go home and do after work, they'll start making stuff up. Make stuff up. And the biggest lies can often get the most people that's willing to listen. The more they add on to it, the more people will be, man, I can't even believe that. You for real? Yeah, I'm for real. You know, and then people gossiping. You know I wouldn't lie. No. People that are always gossiping are usually paranoid because they think people are always talking about them behind their back, i.e. projecting their own feelings, behaviors, thoughts, and actions onto someone else as a defense mechanism to avoid confronting their own negative traits. People that gossip will generally be looking at other folk like people is talking about them because that's what they're doing. They're projecting. Speaking without understanding. This is one right here that I would tell you a lot of men in Sunday Sun worship that don't understand the fullness of the book, that put the old against the new, that put the testament against the Torah violation. The word says to the law and the testimony, if they speak not according to this word, it's because there is no light in them. Think about what I just said. How many folk try to put the testament against the Torah, and it says to the law and, not one or the other. Sirach 3:21. Do not try to understand things that are too hard for you, or investigate matters that are beyond your power to know. Man, we have to be mindful about not running to investigate stuff that don't have no business or nothing to do with us. We have to be cautious of that. I want you to think about it. Man, something can jump off. Everybody runs out to see, ooh, what happened? And the people that can actually help with the situation is trying to figure it out. But because everybody wants to be in the know, that's how you get into slander. Man, I heard he slapped the mess out of Sheila. Wait a minute. They still investigating this. But I want you to think about it, because we're so used to running, oftentimes not to lend a hand, but to be messy. Man, you can very easily speak without understanding. And this is where I said, man, you have the right to remain silent. Hey, I don't know. They still figuring it out. It ain't really none of my business. Most people end up saying things that they have no business saying because they choose to speak prematurely, meaning saying something before it is appropriate or before all the facts are known, often leading to regret or embarrassment. You have to be, women, man, you have to be very cautious of taking your girlfriend's or your friend girl's word as truth. You have to make sure, hey, how did you come about that information? Because a woman jealous of you, a woman covetous over you, can start some mess and get you to do all of the mess. get you to do it. Just by telling you something they know you don't want to hear, here you go crash out. Speaking prematurely. Pharisees, once again, I told you when it came to their encounters and dealings with the Messiah, Yahushua HaMashiach, they were speaking prematurely. It would have been better if they just simply sat back and observed the Messiah's walk. They could have learned. But because they got in this back and forth with Messiah, it was proven they had no idea what they was talking about. Supposed to be esteemed at understanding the Torah, but they was proven lawless. Proven lawless. I want you to think about, anytime things have to be tallied up, a count has to be, or a score has to be had. If somebody's going to win something, and here you are having oversight of this, but not the one doing the counting, and you speak prematurely. Hey, just between me and you, man, you got this in the bag. You won. And everything has not been sorted out yet. Speaking prematurely. Now you got this person ready to shout hip hip hooray, and that wasn't what it was because you spoke prematurely. Don't have all the facts. Don't have all the evidence. Usually when it comes to things of society, there can be different consequences for this because you violated that trust and safekeeping of this information. Cursing. This one right here is probably one of the most misunderstood and not taught enough. Cursing. You can say certain words and people will be like, man, you cursing. Just because you say shiza or dung or shit. People say, man, you cursing. Question is, who did I curse? Who's the curse on? Because that's what a curse is. Most people don't understand the difference between cursing and expletives. Genesis chapter 12, verse 3. And I will bless them that bless thee, and curse him that curseth thee. And in thee shall all families on earth be blessed. Curse, to bind. So when I use that as a demonstration, what did I bind? Who did I bind? So majority of people don't understand the difference between cursing and expletives. Just because something is frowned upon in Western culture doesn't mean that that's the way the Most High Yah feels about it. When we look at etymology, man, we get understanding and the true meaning of what words mean. Okay, expletives. Noun. These are words or phrases themselves that are considered offensive, vulgar, or profane. They can be used as interjections. Damn. Oh shit. Or as part of a sentence. He yelled an expletive at the top of his lungs. Think about that. You stump your toe. Damn. You didn't curse nobody. See, folk can get so religious that they start making up stuff. When you look at a lot of these different denominations, these religions, man, they didn't made up laws. They didn't made up standards of conduct. They don't have nothing to do with what's in the book. The book tells us not to curse people. We see biblically that the Most High Yah curses people. Think about what I just said. You look at Deuteronomy 28. If you don't obey, these are the curses. But religion has dumbed us down, has us so ignorant to the fact that we sitting up, people in church, oh, you can't say that. This is a holy building. Most High Yah tells you in his word, I don't dwell in temples made by the hands of man, but you are the living temple of, Elohim. Expletives. If you want, to go deeper in that one, because, man, that right there could be a whole Sabbath day teaching. And what I've got right here is 2 books that break this thing down very good. I'm talking about to the lowest common denominator. They break down swearing, vulgarity, and when we look at it, biblically, we see cursing. And then it shows how the curse is carried out, what the curse looks like. The curse is just not a word, but that's what we've been taught to believe. So these are 2 good books right here. You can find them on Amazon. I bought used copies of these. I think one was maybe about $9. The other one's about $12. Okay. Great books. The benefits of silence. Talking less can lead to several benefits, including one that I don't have listed: maintaining your salvation, being holy, walking upright, not violating the will of Yah. Okay. Improve listening skills. See, oftentimes when we want to jump in, how can you discern if you're too busy trying to do things that we're not supposed to do, that I've outlined in today's teaching? But through listening, man, you can discern, man, wait a minute. That don't even make sense what this person talking about. Everything, oftentimes, when you discern when somebody's slandering, when somebody's gossiping, what they're doing is trying to focus the attention on somebody else so you don't discern their character. So you have to listen. So remaining silent can improve your listening skills. Stronger relationships with others. Greater self-awareness. Reduce stress. Man, you don't have to worry about absorbing all of that stuff that people want to verbally give you. You don't have to worry about that. And you putting all this stuff out there, and then you sitting back thinking, man, I don't even know if that was true. Why did I say that? I didn't embarrass myself. Remaining silent. More thoughtful communication. Gives you time to process what you're hearing, what you're taking in, and then to be able to, according to wisdom, Ruach HaKodesh, logic, articulate yourself in a way that's not in violation. The ability to gain a deeper understanding of others' perspective by actively listening instead of speaking excessively. Now, when we talk about the biblical strong delusion and the Most High Yah sending that to people that do not believe in truth, man, you have to be able to, if you're always talking and jumping in with everybody else that's being led in the flesh, how can you recognize who's under a strong delusion and who ain't? Remaining silent. You have people out there that will raise their hand and say, hey, I want to be taught this. But then they don't have a teachable spirit. They're too busy trying to tell the teacher what it is that they know instead of gaining this new information. But in order to have a teachable spirit, you got to shut up. Somebody trying to show you something, a new skill set that you don't have, and then you got people, they want to show you, well, I know how to do this. Well, I know how to do that. Well, why ain't we doing it like this? Well, if you just shut up, maybe you'll see that this is not the only way to do it, but I'm adding on to you. I'm sharpening your iron. Can't get your iron sharpened and you not wanting to receive, be in receive mode. This is why a lot of men and women do not have skills in their tool bag. How does Yah see you? Majority of the time, people are more concerned about their reputation, image they have, and how others perceive them, when we should be focused on how does the Most High Yah view us. See, you're not going to be judged by these people that are doing this stuff. You're not going to be judged by these people that you have deceived or lied to or lied on, or you didn't tickle their ears so they think you're a brother, so they think you're a sister. No, you want to be worried about, okay, how does the Most High Yah see me as a man or a woman? And he's looking at you according to his word. When the word says they that say they know him and keep not his commandments is a liar, man, that's how he sees you. For this is the love of Yah, that we obey and keep his commandments. That's how he see you. If you love him, you keep his commandments. You might be saying verbally, oh, I love him, but don't keep his commandment. He sees you as a liar. The question is, do you want to be counted as foolish or wise? You know, when you start remaining silent, man, you'll realize that people always want to know what's on your mind, what you're thinking. If you're sitting back kind of just discerning, in order to discern, oftentimes, man, you just have to be observant. Be observant. Man, I tell you as a drill sergeant, this is something that they taught us. When you speak, speak with great conviction. When you speak, make it count. Rest of the time, shut the heck up. Observe. And you'd be surprised what you can see. But if you too busy running off at them gums, you're going to miss a lot of stuff. Proverbs 17:28. Even a callous, arrogant fool, when he keeps silent, is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is regarded as sensible, prudent, discreet, and a man of understanding. People, when you sit back and remain silent, people will look at you and think you got, all the wisdom in the world. You may have some wisdom, but they will generally think you got more wisdom than you do. Because they're guessing because you ain't saying nothing. People are so used to doing the opposite of this. But the fool that remains silent don't have to worry about embarrassment from things that he said. The man or woman that remains silent don't have to worry about apologizing because their lips got loose. It says, when he closes his lips, he is regarded as sensible. Man, that man or woman's got good sense. Ephesians 4:29. Let no corrupt talking come out of your mouths, but only such as good for building up as fits the occasion, that it may give grace to those who hear. Think about that. This is that fine tuning that we have to be focused on in the last days. You just simply can't say, well, I don't fornicate. I don't commit idolatry. I honor my father and mother. No, but what's your conversation look like? When you're around brothers and sisters, what are you talking about? See, most people are fooled by folk that have a form of godliness. You do all this stuff to make it seem like you devout, but the Most High Yah is actively listening to your conversations. By your words, you justified. By your words, you condemned. You condemning yourself by speaking carelessly, by speaking prematurely, by tearing down somebody's reputation. I want you to understand, tearing down somebody's reputation does no good. Folk tear down other people's reputation as if the Messiah's and the Most High Yah is not watching everything. As if they're not taking a record of it. When we look biblically, man, there will be a judgment. You will have to see Hamashiach. You will have to see him. Whether you've done good, whether you've done bad. Everything is being recorded. You're on a recorded line. They letting you know, hey, we recording this just in case you say something that ain't true, we can use it against you. Today, I'm here today to tell you that you have the right to remain silent. Man, for my married folk out there, when you are married I want you to understand, it's a beautiful thing. But when that spiritual warfare comes about, it's close quarters combat. It is close quarter spiritual combat. And oftentimes, in order to be holy, you got to remain silent. When somebody, your spouse say something to trigger you, who better knows you than your spouse and knows what trigger you? Got the right to remain silent. Men out here, your woman get to talking crazy. You can correct her, but when you go off that deep end and don't deal with her according to understanding, this is something we got to learn right here. Because not only is she supposed to see the light in you, but when the word says deal with your woman in an understanding way, you got to understand that going toe to toe with your woman is not acknowledging the fact that she's the weaker vessel and the first one that Hasatan's going to attack. So you have to think about that at all times. Remaining silent can allow you to get a good night's sleep in marriage. But if you let that mouth run off, you're going to be up to 3, 4 a.m. And it's not gonna amount to anything fruitful. See, society wants you to think that being gangster is doing everything that's lawless, everything the Most High Yah has told you not to do. Thou shalt not murder, shedding innocent blood. They've told you that stuff is gangster. But when you think about it, man, it takes a lot of discipline. Only those led of the Ruach will be able to accomplish everything that I've talked about today. Those are the only people that's going to be able to do it. This is why only a remnant will be saved. But we must focus in on it. We must focus in on it. So when we face judgment and our name is recorded in the Lamb's Book of Life, man, we're worthy. Just because a person's lips say they're worthy doesn't mean their actions are worthy. This is what we must be mindful of. In today's Shabbat message, the goal was to showcase biblically the reason we should default to remain silent rather than running off at the mouth, because everything you say can and will be used against you according to the law, the Torah of the Most High Yah. Remember, your mouth does not move without you making the choice and signaling it to speak. Your lips don't have a brain of their own. What's in your heart goes to your brain, tells your brain to move your lips. Either you're speaking upright, or you're speaking prematurely, you're slandering, gossiping, lying, one-upping. Man, you get a group of men talking about accomplishments, and that pride gonna set in, pridefulness gonna set in, and pretty soon, man, I had a horse that was big as an elephant, and folk gonna just keep one-upping because of that pride that's in your heart. You can't just be content with your own accomplishments. No, you got to make it seem like your accomplishment is more than what it is in order to be, liked by people. Man, it's very, very serious stuff, weighty stuff. And if we got out of this fleshly habit of speaking like the Most High Yah doesn't want us to speak, think about how our conversations could then be chaste, upright, actually generating solutions rather than sowing discord. Man, when somebody slanders you and gossiping, sometimes you don't even realize you don't even know that the people that you could be potentially gossiping about, you don't even know their mental state, their spiritual state. They could be going through it. And how is the light in you if you are making their load even worse. When somebody's gossiping, they ain't trying to help. When somebody's slandering, they ain't trying to help. Once again, man, you have a line on the left, a line on the right. The line on the left, man, you got a million people willing to raise their hand, say all kind of stuff about you, don't care if it's true. Really not trying to help you out. Really counting on your downfall, your demise. This line on the right, 1 out of 1,000 was counted as righteous. Got one person that might be willing to help you. Might be willing to remain silent out of 1,000. Only one man was found. Wasn't no women. According to the preacher biblically. We got to make sure that we are that one. We are that remnant per every 1,000. But our conduct has to match it. And part of that is our speech, our conversation, and the way in which we conduct it. Matthew chapter 12, verse 36. But I say unto you that every idle word that men shall speak, they shall give an account thereof in the day of judgment. Every idle word. I want you to think about that. When you are putting your hands to the plow, you don't have time to sit back and make up stuff. You know, for men and women, you know, I've said it time and time before, man, I have notes in my phone of things that I need to do, accomplish, day-to-day tasks, things at work, places in the word that I need to read and study because I really don't have understanding because I haven't done in-depth studying in certain areas. You know, when I get out to bed, I can turn to the right and see my dry erase board that's got things that I need to accomplish. And that's so I can stay focused and not be idle. But people sitting around acting as if they don't have nothing to do, you're going to realize one thing they don't do is work out their salvation. And today I'm giving you just a small portion of how you can work it out. You know, when you're out, you know, in the workplace, let this be the week where you say, oh man, I really see what Brother Rocker was talking about. I'm really seeing this. And I need to remain silent. I need to remove myself. I need to let these people, you know that what they're doing, even though they call themselves Christians, they call themselves Catholics, they call themselves Baptists, Apostolic. I need to let them know that, hey, man, we ain't supposed to be conducting ourselves. Man, how would you like if somebody was talking about you behind your back and none of it was true and then walk off? See, when you start moving like that, people will see the light in you, but they hate what they see because it's a reminder that the light ain't in them. Let this be the week, man, that we're on a swivel paying attention to this kind of stuff going forward. 9 times out of 10, when you look at this phone, man, historically, you've got somebody that calls you. When you see that caller ID, you know it ain't nothing constructive. It ain't nothing constructive. Somebody calling you, telling you what everybody else did as if they some saint, as if they are the Messiah themselves. Hey, sometimes you just have to decline. Hey, last time I picked up for that person, man, they ran off a good hour of my time that I could have spent working out my salvation, doing something constructive, telling me stuff of no significance, didn't have nothing to do with them, nothing to do with me, nothing to do with this walk. Reject. That's how we got to move. That's how we got to move. Man, I thank you for tuning into this Shabbat message today. Hope you guys have a great day of rest and truly enjoy it, doing what we're supposed to be doing according to the word. Glory to the King. Shabbat Shalom, Israel, and have a blessed day of rest. Closer to Yah Ministries, kicking it gun barrel straight.